This is Seth Beamer, and you're listening to the Pivot Points Music Cast on Fader. Pivot Points dissects the lives of artists at their most crucial intersections, investigating the trials of this insane career and how they are overcome. These are the stories of the crossroads that, for better or worse, shape us all into the people, friends, and musicians we're meant to be. Today, I'm excited to be joined by my guest, Josh Scheer of Denver alternative band Pandas People. Admittedly, Josh and I have been playing together for nearly a year now, and have known each other for even longer. His band has been a staple in the scene for years, and with all of that experience, we'll have a lot of good stuff to talk about today. But first, I want to show you some of his music. This first song hit Denver radio by storm and has been climbing the Spotify charts, now nearing 1 million plays. This is Bad Honey. Josh, what's up, man?
Hey, not much.
Dude, I'm stoked to have you on the pod today.
I feel like I've been here before.
Yeah, I know. It's usually we're in here, demoing, writing, all kinds of stuff.
This is my songwriting chair.
A very good, comfortable spot to be in.
It is. It's amazing.
Man, dude, we have a lot that we could dive into together today because we've known each other in the scene for a long time, but I don't think I knew you at the inception of Pandas and People.
No, I think was it Michael who gave me your contact? And then I remember the first phone call I had, you were still living in Whitefish. So
yeah, that too, yeah.
We had a good conversation for like almost an hour, I want to say.
We did, yeah.
We talked a lot about music and life, and it was good.
Yeah, dude. So tell me about the inception of Pandas. I mean, that was years ago now.
Yeah, back in early 1800s. No, like I guess we've been a band for 10 years now as of this year. So
yeah,
music is always just kind of been my passion. I don't know, since I can remember. I think my very first memory was I was like in this blue Jeep Wrangler that my uncle was driving, and I told this story before to a few people, but I was in a blue Jeep Wrangler that my uncle had, and we were driving, to the river, I think one summer afternoon, and there was that Tom Cochran, I believe is his name, song, "Life is a Highway." Yeah, I remember looking at the highway, the doors were off in the Jeep, and just being like, dude, life's a highway, this is sick.
Oh,
that was it was like the first thing I can remember, and I remember that was the first song I heard, I can remember hearing, and the first time I felt like I was like just madly in love with music. And I didn't even pick up a guitar really until I played drums a little bit in middle school, throughout high school, but never really picked up a guitar until I was in college. Never took singing lessons, anything like that, but just always just loved music, and just have always felt like it was something with music is what I had to do. Just never questioned it. I mean, there's always been those things that you do that don't involve music, that kind of.
When did you start writing music then? Like, when did you actually start saying, hey, okay, I want to take part in this, not just enjoying it?
I found an old cassette tape that I did not remember creating. I think I had to have been 8 or 9 years old. I used to have this little, I think it was for my 5th or 6th birthday, my dad got me this karaoke machine. And it was one of those that it was like a yellow and red karaoke machine from like 1996 or something like that.
A McDonald's karaoke machine?
Oh, it was awesome. Yeah, it was
Yellow
a portable
and red.
McDonald's karaoke. And you could actually record onto a cassette tape.
Wow.
And so I found this old cassette tape. I had to have been, somewhere in the age of like 5 and 8. And it was me pretending to be a DJ and a rapper into this karaoke machine. It was the greatest thing ever. It was awful, but it was adorable. It was cool.
Yeah.
That was the first song I wrote. Yeah. I'll have to dig it up for you sometime. Put it on Spotify, maybe.
No way. So you were making it up. I was like, wait, wouldn't you be singing someone else's song? But no, you were just using it as a mic.
No, I was actually pretending to be a DJ. So I would play. So I'd record into it and be like, this next song is by so-and-so, and then I would play the song and record it, and then so pretending to be a DJ. I guess the first song that I technically wrote, though.
That's awesome.
Oh, man. I think it was probably with my little brother, Devin, in 6th or 7th grade, something like that. We put out a CD, it was a like a rap cassette tape.
Okay.
Yeah, pretty cool.
Nice. So you were into the rap thing no matter what from the get.
Yeah. I was,
Which is interesting. You don't have a lot of rap in your music now.
Oh, you just can't hear it.
It's in there. It's in there.
Oh, yeah.
That's funny.
But I didn't really start taking it seriously, I guess you could say, until, mid-20s maybe. Like really taking it seriously, like learning, trying to learn how to truly...
Did you take lessons or anything?
About it? Not really. I read a couple books and really tried to dive into structures and took a couple classes and stuff, but never really like took lessons or anything like that.
That's pretty impressive, man.
Nah, I wouldn't say so.
I don't know. I grew up in lessons, so and hated it. By the way.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I grew up in lessons, so I'm always impressed when there's like industry professionals who like have never done the lesson thing,
Yeah. I guess I never really grew up around it, so I never really had a reason to. I guess the only my little brother and I were the only ones who even tried music in our family. I remember the first time too that the first influence that I had was Garth Brooks.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, his cassette tape. My mom used to get me his new album through the 90s for my birthday every year. And my little brother Devin and I, we would learn every single word of the cassette tape from front to back and memorize them. And it was kind of almost like a challenge who could memorize the lyrics the fastest. And
that's cool.
Yeah, And so he was just throughout even to this day, I feel like his music is some of my favorite.
I do hear a lot of like country influence in your stuff, even though I wouldn't classify it as country.
I liked a lot of the vulnerability in his music, I think, and stuff like that. I felt, and I liked the fact that he wrote a lot of his own music, things like that. So
that's cool, man.
Yeah,
nice.
Yeah,
your brother doesn't do music anymore, though.
I wish he did. He did for a short stint. He's been on and off with it, but he is far more talented than I am, and I keep telling him that.
Oh,
he won't
man.
listen to me. Yeah, I know.
Come on, guy, get back in it.
I know. I'm trying to push him back into it. Someday I will. Maybe we can together. Maybe we can teamwork that.
Yeah. Nice,
yeah, he's mainly doing video and photography now.
But you guys have worked together still.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nice, man.
Yep.
It's good to have people who you can call on as a team when you're in a band and you constantly need content, you constantly need help and all of that. And have you always had like a team behind you with the band? And
yeah. I mean, it was funny because the way it started, it was like just very haphazard. I mean, it was thrown together with the Hometown for the Holidays back in 2013, that competition. We had just written this song together, my friend Johnny Day and I. We're in an old band together, and it broke up, and we decided to write this new song called On My Way. Sat on it for about a year, took it into blasting room. We got some good feedback from it, took it into blasting room, recorded it, submitted it for Hometown for the Holidays, and it luckily it got into the top 10. Long story short, we had to come up with a name super fast within like a matter of hours, once it was on the radio already, and didn't have any social media, anything like that. So I had to get all that put together in like just a few short days. Played our first show a week later when we got into the final three, and then that was just what just kind of propelled everything. And from there, we just were in this weird spot where we're like, hey, do we want to try to find a band for playing shows? Do we want to just do like this acoustic thing? And we decided we were going to just ask some friends, that we knew to try to, because we were getting show offers already, and we didn't want to turn them down. So we just found a band of friends basically, and kept it kind of structured with Johnny and I. Yeah. Because we weren't just really sure where it was going to take us, and how serious, the bands were going to be, and the members and people playing. So we just kept writing. We put out an EP together.
Did you ever keep building the team after that, as far as like, booking agents, managers,
We had, no, not at all. Like we had some interest in that, but we were always just kind of self-managed, self-produced.
Yeah.
Just never really found the right fit, I guess.
Well, honestly, that's okay. It's always good to like. I've always heard that you don't need a manager until like you can't handle the workload.
Yeah, maybe there's been times where I can't handle the workload, and probably did need one, but I don't know. I don't know. I just really have fun with it. And that's horrible advice, by the way. I'm sorry, but
is it? Yeah,
it is. It's bad.
Oh, okay. Why?
I mean, I don't know. I do believe that management's necessary. You know, and building a team is very necessary in the industry, and that probably is one of the the things I should have done and done earlier. But at the same time, I mean, I've enjoyed every minute of playing music, and I've had no regrets as far as just writing and playing and being able to be a band for 10 plus years.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, there's so many times where I guess it was always my fear to involve somebody, and have them commit and then go be another one of those bands that just, self-implodes.
Yeah, falls apart. Yeah.
So, I always was very careful about that, I guess. Maybe that's part of it. The self-imploding thing. I feel like I've been able to, throughout 10 years, I've been able to straddle landmines, if you will, where it probably could have self-imploded, but kept it kind of crutching along. And there's been weak times for the band where, we, especially COVID, obviously. Yeah. And there's been years where it was just like we were on top of the world. It's just everyone, just like any business and any artist. I mean, it's just the life cycle of being a band. But for me, the beauty in being able to find constant musicians who are have the freedom to be able to move on, and to be able to do their own thing.
Have you always have you been pretty lucky in shows coming to you and opportunities coming to you, or how much of that has been you seeking them out?
Well, as of lately, it's been a lot of me seeking them out, but it used to be a lot of almost being overwhelmed with gigs. But up until about COVID.
I was gonna say, I think the pre-COVID world of gigging was so different.
It feels different now.
Yeah.
I'm sure a lot of bands are going through that, but now it seems like it's been a slow process getting back on our feet. So it's never really in the forefront of my mind playing shows necessarily, and it's really the songs itself and the writing process is what I really enjoy the most.
Yeah.
But I think the playing the shows, comes with the territory. It's something you have to be open to, and it's nothing that I really expected to have to do. Even when putting out that first song.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed it. There's nothing better in this world to me than hearing other people, in a crowd singing your music. So. Oh yeah. But again, I mean, it goes from those are songs that you wrote and you created, and it really affected somebody enough to where they knew the words to it, It's pretty cool.
You ever, maybe this is a silly question, dude, but have you ever written something that you didn't care about, and then you have people singing it like they just think it's the best thing in the world, singing it back to you, and you're like, wow, it didn't really mean anything to me, but it means so much to them. I know maybe that's a mean question, but I think that's kind of funny.
Well, yeah, Bad Honey's one of those for sure.
Yeah.
Like Bad Honey's one of those, like, there's no purpose behind that song whatsoever, other than we're like, Bad Honey. That's kind of cool. Like, like, let's write a song about Bad Honey.
I feel like sometimes too,
it's so random.
Like as songwriters, we write because the vowels sound correct, or the enunciation, and like you don't always write to be powerful. Like, but then like.
There's always the ones that you didn't care about that always.
But at least Bad Honey isn't like a song that's slow and intimate, true. And so if people are singing along, it's probably because they're like, honey, loves.
Yeah, we're like, if we're gonna write a fun poppy kind of dancey song, like I don't know how to put meaning behind it. Just throw out some damn words like Bad Honey, and it's like, I don't know,
totally.
So.
I just couldn't imagine for that song in particular. Someone's like, your love's bad honey.
Yeah, your love's bad honey.
Yeah, they're just all passionate about it.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because like it actually gets more like I feel like more females like it than male, because it seems to me like girls really love that song. Like it's especially like at shows and stuff, they love singing it, and it's just kind of fun. You and I, we press our bodies against against the wind.
Do you feel like through your songwriting and just like your experience level songwriting, do you tend to write more towards like finding meaning through your songwriting, or do you just tend to just like you're just pouring it out now and to the point where you don't always have a meaning behind it? Or is it just such a mix?
Depends on how depressed I am.
Yeah? Hey, that's a good answer. That's a really good answer.
That's the truth, just being honest. I mean, really, depends, because when I'm depressed, I tend to write happy songs.
Oh, what? Really?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, because I try to bring myself out of it. Makes sense. So when I get really down, I use music almost as a tool. I've noticed that I sit down, if I was depressed and I try to sit down and write a depressing song, that would throw me into a loop, man. I would be like, it's like going from down to worst.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you're almost like indulging yourself in it. For me, at least.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
So I tend to, like, for me, it's always been like when I've been at my lowest points, I've written my happiest songs.
And does it work? Does it work the other way too?
It's like, absolutely.
Like, so when you're happy, you write sad songs?
Yeah. So I've been writing a little sadder songs lately.
Yeah. You're feeling good then. That's good.
I've been feeling really good about life.
That's awesome. So,
yeah. I've almost felt like, there's always been an issue with me with the vulnerability part of it. And it's something I've always worked through, but I actually, it's been nice to be able to go to those depths as I've felt better, you know, and not feel like I'm falling off a cliff. Yeah. You know what I mean? So it's been nice lately, to be honest with you.
Is it always a worry then, just the vulnerability part that you mentioned, a worry about like digging yourself into a hole emotionally, or are you maybe sometimes worried about sharing too much?
No, I don't think it's that. It's not the sharing too much. It's literally just digging myself into a hole. Like, have you ever just listened to a really sad album? Like, I don't know, like, what's a good example? Name me a really sad album. Like,
oh man,
like Ben Howard was one for me. Like, I liked some of his like really, really slow stuff. But who is it I'm thinking of?
Okay, I was gonna say, I don't know, Taylor Swift. She writes some sad stuff.
She's super sad. No, Justin Bieber.
Yeah, right.
No, I don't know. Like I there's been times where I almost even get caught up in an album, and I feel myself kind of getting pulled back into that, and I'm just like, oh man, I got to be careful. Like, I really do. Like, I feel like I've always struggled with depression, in my life. I know a lot of people do, and when it's a real thing for you, and you have these.
It's a very artistic thing, man. Like, we're all, as artists, I think like we all fall into that category.
Yeah, we absolutely do. And I'm just afraid for a lot of musicians that I've seen fall too far into it, into, almost overindulging in it, because it's a scary thing, man. I could tell you countless examples of people that have,
we've all got friends, man,
fallen off the cliff. And it's just, I think, as artists, we have to remember, and I guess this could be more of an opinion than anything, but I mean, we have to remember that you really, what you think about is what you live, what you set your mind on is how you're going to perceive life. So, for me, it's always been that. I guess I can't speak for everyone on that, but for me, it's always been that. So,
are there other pieces of art that make you feel that way? Like, do you get really emotional with movies then? Right?
Yeah, actually, that's funny. It's funny you mentioned that, because I've never really thought about it. But I remember, like, at my saddest moments, and this is just embarrassing for me to even admit, but even some of my saddest moments, I would watch the most cheesy films, like chick flicks. Yeah. Like, I'm talking the cheesiest things ever.
Yeah. The Notebook.
I mean, not The Notebook. That's sad. I'm talking like, I don't know, like something with Matthew McConaughey in the early 2000s or something.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
But, yeah, because it'd just be like kind of something to take your mind off of,
Oh, I see. Yeah,
You know what I mean? More than anything, and just kind of like leave everything out and not have to think about everything. We struggle with like overanalyzing things, overthinking about things. So like when I'm writing, and I think it goes back to writing, is like, it's part of that. It's when you're overanalyzing life and you're so sad and about thinking about this one thing that you're so sad about, you can just take your mind off by just writing something that has to do with nothing.
Yeah.
For me, like just to take my mind off of what I'm going through. So I use it. I've always used songwriting as more of a tool for that, to kind of pull me out of places.
I feel like that's so opposite than of most. It's opposite from me. So I don't know. I don't hear that a lot where it's like, oh, I write opposite of how I'm feeling. Because like when I'm depressed, I just write exactly what I'm feeling, and I'll just say it. And I think part of the beauty of like songwriting is you can say exactly what you mean, and people won't get it. Like because like you can be vulnerable because people.
That's a strength, man. That's an absolute strength. And,
but it's interesting to hear it the other way with you about pulling yourself out through it. So that's cool.
It's almost a therapeutic tool for me. So it's and for me, it meaning like Do
you always like intentionally sit down and write, or do you have songs where it just pours out of you, or is it all the above in that regard too?
All the above. I wouldn't say like I ever I don't know. A lot of times most of the ideas that I get are just put into an Apple Note, and then I sit down later and I try to take as detailed a notes as I can, but a lot of times I just come back to them when I'm feeling in the mood, Well, because I know you and I, like when we get together and write, like we're getting together and writing, Yeah, and that's been awesome though.
It has been awesome. Yeah. But so it's cool to hear too about, we don't always talk about you having those moments of like, oh, I just like, it came to me and
it is weird too. Like, for me, I went through like the last 2 years where, I've been just and I've never really had this happen like through my life, but the last 2 years it's been crazy because I have just kind of I probably have like 7 songs that I've written based on melodies that I dreamt, or full songs that I just dreamt. I woke up
really.
So I start with this, like in the middle of the night, I'll wake up and I was dreaming of playing on a stage and playing this exact song. Of course, and in your dream, you think it's the coolest thing ever. And it's the greatest song ever. And you're like, how did I not think of that? And then you wake up and you're humming it, and then I'll hum it into a voice memo, and then I'll wake up the next morning and either it's great or it's garbage. It's usually garbage. But there's been a couple that have been pretty decent. So I just as kind of a fun little side thing, I've been putting together these group of songs that all came from dreams, which is kind of interesting. But and I was like, man, it would be kind of cool to like just full on release an album of like just dreamt songs.
That would be cool,
right? And like, because how many of us just like we almost force ourselves into a song, where that's literally coming from your subconscious.
What would you call it? Well, dreamers or. Don't call it. Maybe I was gonna say sleepers, but they're not sleepers. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't know. I have nothing for that. I got nothing, man.
That is a cool concept, though.
But it could be kind of fun. I don't know. That's music to me, though. It's just like I don't know. I just have fun with it.
Yeah.
It's never. I don't try not to take it too seriously. Although, I do believe, strongly that music is my one and only passion. It's my one and only goal in life. That I felt like I've always known.
Have you ever done like a concept, like album, EP, any kind of work that's been concept?
Not really. But I like the idea. I've kind of been like done the single game, honestly.
You really have, yeah. I mean, you're like consistently, like every year putting out a song.
But I like the concept album idea.
Yeah.
I think it's really cool, and it could be fun to play around with.
Yeah. Or even just a record. Has that been on your mind at all?
Oh man, sounds like a lot of work.
Yeah.
Sounds really expensive.
Dude,
it's
that's
more than anything. It just sounds expensive. I don't know anymore. It just I would love to. If I had the the finances to just go and do an album, I definitely would. But I like the ability to, like we've been doing. I really love writing nonstop, but like taking some of those ones that you really feel passionate about. That's a strong song, and going with that.
Well, like most people who I talk with about music on this podcast too, about singles versus records and all of this, it's like everyone's in the same boat right now of like the ROI of a record just isn't as big as a single. And it's tough. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really tough. Some of the quotes I've gotten to do an album were just like, no thanks.
Oh, that's all right. I think we're at a good pace right now.
Yeah.
Putting out a couple songs here and there, and
yeah, absolutely. And I don't know, I've, especially as of late, I've really liked to, branch out, and I've been, I'm like so split. Like I like so many genres so much.
Yeah.
And I want to just release all of them. I want to be able to release a metal song with like a country song, like a folk song and a pop song. But like, I don't know, it doesn't, I guess the world doesn't really work that way. So.
Well, and this band kind of has taken just a shift in trajectory as far as like the genre.
Yeah.
Have you always like written in genre, or do you just write music and whatever it comes out as it comes out as?
I feel like I've always kind of done that. Just, I just really like all music. I don't know, it sounds so plain, but like it's the truth. I really like it all. I don't feel like I've gravitated to one genre or the other, and I really enjoyed writing it all and performing it all. So and it's tough when you have a fan base that likes a specific genre, and then they say, no, don't do that, don't release that song with this, and so I've enjoyed finding ways to go around that with starting new projects and releasing it under different names and things. So it works.
Yeah, I think you have some solo stuff you've been writing lately too.
Yeah. I've really enjoyed just kind of when I just pick up a guitar and write, it sounds completely different than what Pandas and People is. Once it's all polished and done. And so I've kind of started to try to put together an EP or an album potentially that's a little bit less polished, a little more just raw acoustic type stuff, maybe a little bit more country, I would say. I
know we've demoed a little bit of that, and you've shown me just touches of it, but I'm excited to hear everything that you've got with it, man.
And that's just more, I think that's just more kind of digging into the roots of growing up on a farm and the roots just of kind of the childhood that I lived and digging back into some older memories and stuff and writing songs about that. And it's been really easy. In fact, one of my favorite things to do lately has been to literally scroll through my phone and through 10 plus years ago and find a cool photo and then just like click on it and write a song about it.
What?
Yeah, and
that's cool.
I've done that a couple times and it works really, really well, because then you kind of like, oh yeah, what was I doing right there? What was that memory? Like you're just kind of scrolling through it and you're like, that was a really good memory. And then write a whole song about every photo, I feel like. And
wow,
it's like,
that's cool. I feel like I can't write about I have such a hard time writing about, like, here's a prompt, write about it.
Right.
It's always like it has to just kind of like evolve out of me. And maybe you've seen that when we write together. Yeah. Where it like has to be like that.
Beautiful music. So.
Oh, thanks, man. Thank you. But like, I think that's cool. That's another unique just way to write. So you have your concept record on your dreams, and you have your concept record about photos.
Albums.
Yeah. Look at this graph.
Look at this photograph.
Yeah.
Nickelback had it right.
They did, yeah.
Jeez.
And that's where we led to, guys. Wave's the newest song that just came out, and I'll admit that this is actually a song that I wasn't even involved in. So you've had this on the shelf for a little bit.
Gosh, yeah, I think 2 years.
Wow.
Yeah, I think we recorded it in 2021. So
okay.
Yeah, that's been way too long, man.
Yeah. Well, so what's the story behind that? Who helped write it, or was that all you? And was it based off of a photo?
I wish. Yeah, this is when I was trying to surf back in. No, I wrote that one with Adam Haig, a good friend of mine. I went to high school with, but the idea behind it, I kind of brought this theme to him of the struggle with just regret, just in general, just living through life, not being able to look forward just because you're constantly looking backwards, the struggle that I've seen some of my friends and family go through with that, and really that leading into, you know, just struggles with addiction, and things like that, that I've just seen some friends go through. Yeah. So, you know, the chorus talks about, you know, when it rains, will it cover these tracks? And it's my life's going way too fast. And it was shortly, I wrote that song, those lyrics shortly after losing a really close friend of mine, and almost felt like a brother to me, to addiction. And just kind of, I felt like I tried to write it as best as I could from his perspective. And I've never really had too many struggles with that stuff. And so I have had my struggles with depression, and I can be honest about that, but never with addiction and substance abuse and stuff. So it was kind of a blend between, you know, my own personal struggles with depression throughout my life, and some of the mistakes that I feel like I've made, you know, and some of the things that I, you know, still think about, and the regrets that I've made, and also a blend of like where it can lead you to, you know, if you don't deal with it. So, and that's pretty much it. That's cool. I had no idea, actually. Yeah. I mean, I dig the song, and after listening to it, though, it kind of brings you just hearing what the actual meaning is, it brings on a whole new life. Yeah. So. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's cool. Yeah. Yep. Well, here it is, Wave.
Tell me where I missed a step. I'm just wondering what comes next. Good memories fade away. We're all just finding a way. And I know that I lost my mind, trying to leave it all behind.
So I did say that I wasn't involved with Wave, but this next single that we're about to come out with, I was involved with.
It's the best one.
And it's called
Tired of Talking. Talked.
Yeah. I love it. What's Tired of Talking about, man? Because I didn't write the lyrics in this one.
No, you didn't. No. You didn't write the lyrics, but you wrote the best part of the song, which is the outro.
Oh my gosh, whatever.
It is true. I showed that actually to Brooke today, and she's like, "Oh my god, that is so good." So,
great.
I'm like, "Oh man, she thinks it's good." I mean, she always hates my music, but
that song really came together, man. It's really cool.
It did. But no, that song kind of came from. Actually, I wrote that with a good buddy of mine, Tucker Ewing.
Who used to be in the band.
Yes. Yeah, he used to play guitar. He was still one of my best friends. Lives out in Nashville now. And we still write together. He came over. I think he spent like a full weekend at my house. And we just spent a day just kind of jamming in the basement, and came up with this song just kind of naturally. And really... the idea behind it, well, I guess was on my mind at the time. He wrote something I think that was completely opposite, but we had written the kind of the foundation of the song. You know, we put the drums and the bass together. Yeah. And then he went upstairs and, you know, was just watching TV or whatever. He's like, "Yeah, lay down some lyrics," and I wrote, you know, a few lyrics to it, more along the lines of like, well, I guess my whole idea was like talking about, you know, the pressure with social media. In general, and just feeling like you constantly have to be putting yourself out there to people as an artist
and be present,
and like it's like constant, like this constant pressure. And I'm not personally a huge fan of social media. I don't mind like my content being out there all the time, but rather like having to think about my like living my life, but then also having to think about having to share it with other people all the time. Yeah, not really my thing. So I liked, you know, I like tired of talking, really just like tired. I'm tired of talking. I'm tired of talking about my life. I just want to live it, you know. Yeah. Thing and get tired of constantly have to show you what I'm doing, you know.
Yeah. Tired of talking, man.
I mean, I'm sure like a lot of artists feel that way. They just don't really say it, but like I don't know. Maybe some artists really enjoy it too, just having the spotlight on them all the time. I don't know, but then Tucker came back down. I took my turn going upstairs, and he wrote something that was completely opposite, but it worked together, and it actually feels really cohesive because he wrote something that was I feel like a little bit more about the pressures of growing up.
Yeah, because there's that line about college.
Yeah, the pressures of growing up and having to.
Or did that make the final cut? The word about college? Didn't.
A little bit. So that line that was...
What happened to that?
Yeah. So that line in the bridge that he wrote, it was, we all grow up... When we go to college,
we'll all grow up.
And so I just changed it to, we all went to college and grew up, or something like that, or past tense.
When we went to college, we all grew up.
Yeah, when we went to college.
Is that what it was?
Yeah.
You'll find out when you hear it, y'all.
Yeah, I guess you'll never know.
Yeah.
Keeping his same idea,
Yeah.
That was what he kind of told me was his idea, but at the same time making it less like we're 12 years old.
It's interesting how someone, like when you're co-writing, like one person can have this idea about a song and then they hear it and then like without talking, they kind of take it and run with it in a whole nother way, but it's all still cohesive. It's all still one product.
And, I'm a strong believer in that, like, I don't like stepping on people's toes when it comes to lyrics, and I think everyone has their own meaning to lyrics. So I remember I reached out to him and I said, "Hey, what was your intent, for this lyric?" And he told me he wrote me a whole paragraph about it, just that one line, and I was like, okay. Well, would it be cool if I just changed it to past tense instead of future? Yeah. And he's like, "Oh yeah, whatever." Like, all right, we got it,
Nice, man. So. Nice. Well, when's the song? I don't even know this. We haven't even talked about this. When's it coming out, dude? What's the plan?
It's great. It's a great question.
We got to figure that out.
It's still on the burner right now. It's getting mixed. I'm hoping next month.
Oh, okay. I was going to say by the end of the year, right?
Yeah, next couple years for sure.
End of the 2000s.
Yeah. Within my lifetime, I hope. But I think we'll probably get it out this summer. That's my goal.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you cool with that?
Hey, I'm ready. I'm ready right now. Mix one. Let's put it out. Yeah.
Yeah, just throw it out there.
No, I'm excited, man. That's going to be just cool for me personally to have been a part of a Pandas and People song. So
I say this every time, too. Like, I mean, it is my favorite song we've done.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like I say that with every new song. But I do truly feel that. Like,
it's a good song. There's a lot of good songs, but this goes in the category of all the in the top tiers for sure.
I agree.
So I'm excited about it.
Absolutely.
Cool, man.
Absolutely.
Well, dude, Josh, thanks for coming on the Pivot Points Music Cast with me today. Yeah, I appreciate it, dude.
All right, yeah, thanks, Seth. I appreciate you having me.
Well, that's all we got, folks. Thanks so much for listening to Pivot Points. You can listen to the Pivot Points Music Cast and more on the Fader app. My name's Seth Beamer, and I'll talk to you soon.